Let me ask you about that. The name of Tony Blair being floated in this plan, the post-war plan for Gaza. What do you make of that?
Big mistake. Big mistake. I mean, he served as the envoy for the quartet in Palestine between 2007 and 2015 with minimum, almost negligible progress. If anything, he just served his own interest throughout that period, and he came under a lot of criticism. He was seen by the Palestinians as too biased towards Israel. He is discredited across the Arab world because of the war in Iraq. And I thought he has retired now, and he's happy doing his own think tank business, and I think he should stay in that zone. What is needed is someone who's, as far as possible, from the Americans, the Israelis, the British, and there are plenty of good, credible people out there who can do the job.
Right.
Palestine is not any less valued than Kosovo or East Timor, and all those considerations were taken on board before deciding on an individual. No one just carries a plan and walks in and gets the job.
Let me ask Phyllis about her thoughts about Tony Blair's possible involvement in post-war Gaza. Phyllis.
Well, it's the same. I would certainly agree with all of those comments. I think that the history of Tony Blair in his alliance with George W. Bush in carrying out the illegal war in Iraq should, if nothing else, absolutely disqualify him. But I think this is a broader question than who should be the proconsul, as we just heard from James Bays. It's exactly the right word. What we're saying is Gaza once again will have a non-empowered, very weak kind of what's called a temporary transitional government of Palestinian technocrats. Essentially, this is Oslo 4.0 or whatever number we're at now. They would have no power. They would be under the supervision, that's the language of the 21-point program, the supervision of a, quote, new international body established by the United States in consultation with Arab and European partners. Now, we know who that is. It does not mean that Palestine will have any governing independence. It will certainly not be a state. But aside from statehood, which is really not the issue at the moment, the issue is rights. The issue is ending genocide. Who is going to play a role of defending Palestinians from this international occupation, this international force whose mandate is stability rather than justice? None of this makes any sense if we're serious about ending a genocide, rebuilding a population and a country that has been so destroyed over these now almost 2 years. This does not answer any of those questions. This continues apartheid, it continues occupation, it continues colonialism. This is an incredible retreat backwards.
All right, Phyllis and Sultan, we're getting some new lines from the White House about this phone conversation that's happened between the Israeli Prime Minister and the Qatari Prime Minister over the attack on Doha earlier this month, the attack in which several members of Hamas were killed and a Qatari citizen as well. The White House saying that Netanyahu has expressed deep regret that Israel's missile strike against Hamas targets in Qatar unintentionally killed a Qatari serviceman. As we were saying, the apologies about the killing of a Qatari citizen rather than the violation of Qatar's sovereignty. But the White House also saying that the President, Donald Trump, expressed his desire to put Israel-Qatar relations on a positive track after years of mutual grievances and miscommunications. Will this be enough to put those relations back on track, Sultan?
I doubt it. I think, first, there hasn't been years of miscommunication between Qatar and Israel. Qatar and Israel coordinated very well since 2006-07, the help to people in Gaza. And there's a lot of, there has been many opportunities for brokering peace between the Palestinians and the Israelis, where Qatar played a very important role. Look, there are four points I think that Qatar must insist on. One is the public apology, and it's about violating its sovereignty. They should insist on, I think, reparation to the victims of the attack, the Palestinians as well as the Qataris and everyone who was affected by that attack. There should be also a binding commitment from Israel not to repeat the attack anywhere in the Arab states where there is a possibility to engage in the settlement of the Hamas issue going into the future. And finally, I would insist that they should receive a formal written request to mediate from Israel, not from the United States. Part of the problem of all this is that Israel has always hidden itself behind the United States. The United States approached them verbally for the support, and then the Israelis do whatever they want. In these kind of circumstances, Israel must write, formally request, and then have that request guaranteed by the United States and possibly even the UN. Anything short of that, I think it would be a high risk.
Phyllis, let me come to you. The White House also saying, well, giving a bit more details about this phone conversation, saying that President Trump hosted a trilateral phone call with Netanyahu and the Qatari Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Jassim Al Thani of Qatar, and that the leaders, apparently, according to the White House, accepted the president's proposal to establish a trilateral mechanism. What should we understand that to be?
Well, I think this is a reflection of the fact that Qatar is a key ally of the United States. Washington's largest military base in the entire region is located in Qatar. So Qatar plays a huge role in U.S. Military strategy, its strategy of being able to strike countries throughout the region. Israel, of course, is already doing that. Israel has bombed 7 countries in the last several weeks, one of which was Qatar, but there were 6 others. And, you know, in this context, I think we have to be very careful here. This is an important issue. The question of the sovereignty of every state in the region is certainly important. And what is also true is that we are trying to stop a genocide. People are being killed by the hundreds every week, by the dozens every day. Children are dying both of starvation and of being killed when their hospitals are bombed. This is the urgency of now. This isn't about the niceties of diplomacy. This is about ending a genocide. And we cannot allow a distraction of the particular, I fully agree that the apology that's been offered so far is completely insufficient, but it isn't the main point. The main point is, how do we stop the slaughter of Palestinian civilians, now over 66,000, whose names we know, and we don't have any idea how many thousands more have been killed and whose bodies lie under the rubble.
Right.
That has to be top of the agenda.
Yeah, the urgency, as you say, is, you know, to get this genocide to end. Is there within the U.S., Phyllis, is there political will and from all, you know, or the political class in America, is there political will to see this war end?
Unfortunately, I don't see it yet at the level of decision-making at the political echelon. We have seen an extraordinary rise in popular demands for it. 77% of Democrats, and I believe the figure was 44% for Republicans, say the U.S. should stop sending arms to Israel, period, full stop. That would end the war. The media coverage is shifting quite dramatically in favor of a much more balanced approach that they never had before. What we're not seeing is enough of a shift in the policy level. We are seeing, for example, 50 members of the House of Representatives have now become co-sponsors of a new resolution to block the bombs, as it's called, to stop sending some of the weapons to Israel, not even all of them. That hasn't come to a vote yet, but we've never seen as many as 50 members of the House supporting it. So there is a very small shift underway that's very important, but it's not enough. And we're not seeing any of that shift from the White House. We're seeing a concern about maintaining the Abraham Accords. We're seeing a lot of concern about stability in the region. We're not hearing a lot of talk. We're hearing a lot of talk about bringing home the hostages, which is an important consideration for sure. And we are not hearing about Palestinian civilians who are being killed in absolutely astronomical numbers.
Indeed. Sultan, let me come to you now and ask you about the mood in this region. We've heard enthusiasm also from Arab states, Jordan notably, about the possibility of a deal being reached very soon. Do you think, you know, after having met Donald Trump at the United Nations, there was this meeting, of course, between a number of Arab leaders and Donald Trump. Do you think these leaders are acting out of genuine commitment to Palestinian self-determination, or is it more to do with strategic alignment with Washington?
It's a bit of both, I think. And if you notice when they spoke at the UN General Assembly, very few of them referred to the 1967 borders. They all referred to a Palestinian state, the capital in East Jerusalem, and one or two made a reference to a negotiated border between Israel and the Palestinians, which means that they're now open a little bit more to the possibility of exchange of land between Israel 1948 and the occupied territories of 1967. This is particularly important, I think, to neighboring countries, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Egypt. Jordan is coming under a lot of pressure from its own population. They are finding it increasingly difficult, really, to protect the Israeli border. And now they have the leverage. They can suggest or threaten to suspend the coordination, security coordination that's going on between them and Israel. And of course, Netanyahu does not seem to even appreciate anything that Jordan has done over the last couple of years and have done since they've signed the peace agreement with Israel. And he illustrated very badly his point of view, his ambition to have the greater Israel, the way he took Rubio for a visit under the Al-Haram al-Sharif, the holy site that is under the custodianship of the Jordanians and so on. All of this is designed to provoke people, and they're trying their very best not to raise the level of tension to a level where they can't really retreat. And I think we've reached a stage now where everybody is running out of options. Everyone is wanting to stop this genocide, and for it to happen, Netanyahu has got to give way.
All right. Thank you both for the moment. Phyllis Bennis, Sultan Barakat. We are continuing